Okay, I think we need to talk about Alex Jones, because I'm hearing some things about him and his banning that are kind of worrying me. So, if you're not aware of who Alex Jones is, or what recent events in his life have transpired, please stop watching this video. I want you to spare the pain. I want you to be spared of the pain of knowing who Alex Jones is. No one deserves that. For everyone left, Alex Jones, as you know, is a ostensibly conservative pundit and a conspiracy theorist. Maybe the preeminent conspiracy theorist of our times. And very recently, he was banned from most social media websites. That is Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, I think, joined the bandwagon. And very recently, he's been banned from receiving transactions, monetary transactions, and usually in the form of donations, from people who listen to his radio nonsense. There's a troubling aspect to this that I've been hearing from people, and it's regarding the reason that Alex Jones was banned. People are talking about how Alex Jones was banned because he's crazy, how Alex Jones was banned because he was a liar, and neither of those things are true, and perpetuating that they are is very harmful to people that I care about. Let me explain. I'm not going to get into it very much because I don't like getting into my personal life very much, at least in a public way. Whenever I have, I've been relentlessly, ceaselessly mocked for it. My father died last year, and I was quite cruelly mocked for it, so put a lid on that shit. But suffice it to say that I have several lifetimes worth of experience dealing with mental illness. From a second-hand perspective, I'm practically the only person I know who doesn't have some sort of major diagnosed mental illness. I could count the other people on one hand. And to say that Alex Jones was banned for being a crazy person isn't just harmful to those people because it perpetuates certain stereotypes about mental illness. It's also literally wrong. Speaking from my experience as a person who's had to deal with a lot of mentally ill people, Alex Jones is not mentally ill in the way that people are presupposing that he would have to be. He's not mentally ill in a way that would cause him to be detached from reality. There are very specific mental illnesses that cause that, and at least everything I've heard from people who know him, people who have known him, seems to suggest that he's just acting. That was even his defense when he was on trial. He was trying to keep his children, is that he was playing a character, and that character was Alex Jones. I mean, I'm not so much concerned with it being wrong, being correct or incorrect. That's more a diagnostic thing, and lay people shouldn't be diagnosing other people with mental illness. It helps create an atmosphere where people who are not mentally healthy feel like they are dangerous. And most people who are mentally ill are not dangerous. And more importantly, more pertinently, most people who are mentally ill and who are dangerous are only a danger to themselves. We need to make people who aren't entirely mentally well, we need to make them feel like that's okay, like they're not going to be judged for that. We need to make people feel like they aren't going to be borne down upon for having depression, or having borderline personality disorder, or even having things as severe as dissociative identity disorder. That's something we're really bad at doing. And it hurts me, because it hurts people that I care about a lot. Not just the Alex Jones thing specifically, but this atmosphere that if you're not mentally well, then you're broken. That there's something wrong with you on a fundamental level, and not that you have a disease that can be treated and dealt with appropriately. God damn it, I'm starting to sound preachy. Long story short, mental health awareness, mental health acceptance, that kind of thing. The second thing, Alex Jones was not banned from these things from Facebook and Twitter and PayPal and Twitch and Rodum for lying. And the very notion of such a thing is ridiculous on its face. People lie all the time. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not one of these Kantian cretins who thinks that every lie is a damage against the universe, the moral fabric of the universe. This is maybe another topic for another day, but we don't live in a perfect world. And you can't act in the most morally upright way all the time. It's not possible. So the notion that doing something wrong automatically makes you a bad person is also ridiculous. I think I'm going to go on a little tangent here too. Do you want to start banning people from social media for lying? And how do you, draw the line? When does stretching the truth become an untruth? And speaking as an anarchist, who gets to make that decision? Do you trust Facebook to tell you who is and isn't lying? I don't. Do you trust Twitter to tell you who is and isn't lying? Because I don't. And if you give people the power to decide this person is lying and they need to be removed for lying, it's a troubling precedent, I think. Moreover, Alex Jones isn't dangerous because he's a liar. Alex Jones is dangerous because his calls to action have resulted in dangerous situations. So back in the early 2000s, I think it was 2006, there was this guy named George Tiller who gained nationwide attention because he was one of the only people in Texas, I think. I don't know if you can tell, but I can't remember this very well. I should have looked this up. He gained nationwide attention because he was one of the only people in Texas who was willing to do late trimester abortions, I think it was. It was some sort of procedure that was dangerous for the woman and invariably resulted in the death of the fetus. And a number of people took umbrage with this, including Bill O'Reilly, who repeatedly, at least 6 times, went on his show, The O'Reilly Factor, on Fox News, and referred to George Tiller as Tiller the Baby Killer, going so far as to say that someone should do something about this man. There were 2 attempts made on his life in his women's health clinic, if I recall correctly, both of them unsuccessful. And then there was one successful attack on his life. He was shot in the back of the head while he was at church, passing out whatever those crackers are. A person can create a dangerous call to action, and Alex Jones does that frequently. Okay. Sandy Hook is the big thing here, because Alex Jones and his calls to action, oh, nobody died at Sandy Hook. Oh, it's all a stage hoax. Oh, it's an artificial children massacre. That has had effects in the real world. Parents whose children were murdered in Sandy Hook Elementary School have had to go into hiding because people have attacked them. People have sent them threats. People have vandalized their homes in a couple of cases. And that's all on the head of Alex Jones. You remember Pizzagate? I hope not. You remember the guy who went down to the Comet Pizza Club with a loaded gun to find the children that were supposedly being exploited, only to find out that the Comet Pizza place doesn't have a basement. That was Alex Jones. That was a call to action by Alex Jones. He specifically said that someone needs to go down there and do something about that. That's why Alex Jones was banned. That's why Alex Jones is dangerous. Not just because he promotes dangerous ideologies. Not just because he lies like a fucking rug. But because he encourages people to inflict violence for no good reason. And that's not to say that there are ever good reasons for violence, necessarily. But responding to conspiracy theories with violence is nonsense. I feel like people are saying that he's a crazy person, that Alex Jones is a crazy person, or that he's a liar and a charlatan, because it's easier than confronting how fragile reality is for some people, for most people, even. Because it's easier than confronting how easily some people can be swayed to perform horrible actions. I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you. I could hypothetically do that even on accident, and that would be my responsibility to deal with. That would be on my head. Especially in an era, especially now, when you have these awful people all over the internet. Not just Alex Jones. Alex Jones is just the creme de la shit. There are awful people who make a living harassing people, encouraging harassment. Maybe not necessarily partaking in harassment themselves, but directing harassment. There are people who make a living doing that. A good living, even. We need to come to terms with that. It isn't just Alex Jones, and that's the bigger problem. Be careful what you say, because words mean things. And take care of yourselves.